Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And this time I'll be playing Deus Ex The Fall blind. Now, I've only recently finished Human Revolution, and to be honest, I've only played the original Deus Ex and then Invisible War last year, so you could say I'm very much a newcomer to this series. But I thoroughly enjoyed, at the very least, Deus Ex 1 and Human Revolution. Invisible War was a huge letdown after Deus Ex 1, although I do think it wasn't half as bad as I was led to believe. And I bought the whole series as a bundle. It came with The Fall as well. Now, I've heard a lot of bad things about this game. Supposedly it's crap and worthless. But as I said, I didn't pay additionally for it. It came with the bundle. And if Invisible War taught me anything, is that the sort of popular consensus on a game doesn't always perfectly line up with my own feelings, because while I do think Invisible War was a disappointment compared to Deus Ex 1, I think if you look at it as an independent game, if it wasn't a sequel to such an acclaimed title as Deus Ex 1, I think it would be perfectly serviceable and sort of okay. Like, it was nothing great, but it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a horrible game. So overall, I don't regret playing it, even though it was something, a lot of people recommended I outright skip it and go from Deus Ex 1 to Human Revolution. So for that reason, I think I just wanted to give The Fall, a try and see if there is maybe something of value in it after all. Now, from what I understand, this is a port of a mobile game, so I expect the gameplay and the graphics to be, rather simplified compared to Human Revolution. But what I'm counting on is, the story and the characters. I hope it fleshes out some details of the world and maybe provides some more context, because from what I've seen and sort of heard, it provides a little more detail about some of the characters from Human Revolution, namely the tyrants, that being this elite squad of heavily augmented people that are sort of your antagonists. Well, they serve as bosses pretty much in Human Revolution, and I found that there, in Human Revolution itself, they seemed pretty underdeveloped. Like, you didn't really know much about them. You didn't know what their motivations and what their history was. So I hope this game, at the very least, can shine some light on that, and maybe provide some more information generally about the state of the world. I try to be open-minded about it. As I said, I don't expect it to be very complicated in the gameplay scenario, and probably the graphics will be simplified compared to Human Revolution, but maybe there's something worthwhile in it. So, okay, let's start.
Are we ready to begin?
We've established the candidate firm as a viable proxy. Public interest is strong, market confidence is high. I've spoken with my people in New York. Our ghost will be ready to activate when the moment comes.
And the research? The trials are complete, yes?
We're close, but we need more time.
Explain.
The tests have yielded excellent results during this phase, but the effects vary. With more time, we can ensure the mechanism will work exactly as required. And told us the latest batch was ready for release. All of our plans depend on your provision. Delays are unacceptable. To get the data we require, the testing regimen will need to be increased.
We can see to that in Panama. you'll have what you want. Are we at risk?
Our new recruit is ready, but he is unstable.
And the scientist?
Under control. He'll do what he's told.
What about the two that got away?
Missing. Presumed dead.
They interfered in Geneva. That cannot happen again.
If they come out of hiding, I'll kill them myself.
Returning now to our main story. The global shortage of Neuropozyne is making life difficult for augmented people everywhere. Pharmaceutical giant VersaLife, sole manufacturer of the anti-rejection drug, has suffered multiple setbacks in recent months, slowing the company's ability to meet demand.
Anna, what's wrong? You're unsteady.
I'm fine. As good as can be expected.
Are you skipping your meds? I know you're not sleeping. Come on, talk to me.
It doesn't matter. The clock is ticking, Ben. You know they're out there looking for us. And it's only a matter of time before he finds out where we're hiding.
He won't find us here.
We can't just sit here waiting. If we had enough information, proof of what they're doing, we could expose them. Conspiracies thrive in the darkness, but if we could shine a light on them, so bright it would make it impossible for them to operate.
2 against the Illuminati. You'll never expose the tyrants. They just cover their lies with more lies. They work in the shadows, it's what they're good at. I know because I used to be one of them. The only way to stop them is to wipe them out.
What happened to you, Ben? Before Geneva? What was it like to be a tyrant? What did you see? Tell me about him.
Couldn't tell where the man ended and the machine began. His name is Jaron Namir, commander of the Tyrants, a covert Black Ops unit. I was working for the Bell Tower PMC. Namir rescued me from a mission that went bad. Operation Rainbird, right in the heart of the Australian Civil War. I lost my entire team out there. We were shot down. Only 2 of us survived the crash, me and Sam. Corporal Sam Duarte. But Sam died before they came. I had nowhere else to go. Namir recruited me. My first mission with the Tyrants was in Moscow. The target was a Russian minister. They said he was in bed with a cyber warfare hacker group. They said he was the one responsible for Operation Rainbird. Namir gave me a chance for revenge.
Activate the wet drive. Call up the primary target. Remember that face, Ben. This is the man responsible for the deaths of your former team. You are to terminate him with extreme prejudice.
For Sam and the others.
All call signs, check in.
This is Blue, ready to roll.
Gray here, let's go.
White, I'm already in position.
Red, follow me. Go now.
Heard the man. Move your ass.
Switch to encrypted frequency. From this moment on, use code names and subvocal communication only.
Okay, so there's already a bunch of things I could...
You can move in any direction.
Okay, I probably don't need info on how to walk, especially because at the very least, at first glance, this seems to play and even look very similarly to Human Revolution, which I only recently finished, so I'm still pretty fresh with the control scheme and whatever. And by the way, there's a link to the playlist of Human Revolution in the description, in case you were interested. But there's already a bunch of things I would like to comment on. First of all, the intro was kind of reminiscent of the intro of Human Revolution itself, because you had this encrypted meeting, a teleconference between people that you weren't really sure who they are. There were some clues and some like corporation names being dropped and whatever, and I recognized like pretty distinctly, because his voice is pretty distinct in itself. Bob Page was in that conversation, and I think Everett as well, because Picus was mentioned, Montreal and Picus, and Everett is the CEO of Picus News. Now they also mentioned the two people that went rogue after something that happened in Geneva, which later was revealed. One of them is the protagonist, Ben Saxon, and the other was the woman, I guess, from the intro, because this is like a flashback, I guess, and I imagine the whole game is going to, like, what I saw in the beginning is actually the end, and it is going to sort of replay the sequence of events as he tells them to that woman, to tell her what happened, that he broke off from the tyrants. So I guess this probably takes place sometime before Human Revolution, but I'm not sure how far. Obviously the civil war in Australia is already in effect, which was mentioned. It was still going on by the time Human Revolution was happening, but obviously all of the tyrants are still around, and and you kill them all during Human Revolution itself. But I'm not sure what's the time frame completely, like if it's just before the Human Revolution or a significant time before. Not quite sure, but probably going to learn more about that. Okay, let's follow Jaron Namir then. I wonder if I can disable the what's the name for them, like quest markers or whatever. System, display highlights. Probably not. I usually try to keep them off because I find they distract me and break my immersion. I prefer to find my way on my own, even if it takes a longer time. But I think this being a mobile game, it probably had to be...
Red, blue, secure the roof. Check for stragglers. Gray, with me.
It had to be like streamlined and simplified. But to be honest, it doesn't look, that bad. Like, obviously the textures themselves are kind of flat and not that great quality.
I hear someone coming.
It's colder than your mother's ass out here.
Stop riding. You're like a little girl. And what does it even mean?
It means what you think it means.
But as far as the art direction itself, it doesn't look half bad. Like it very much looks quite similar to Human Revolution itself. Okay, I guess I have to do it just to proceed with the
mouse to
tutorial.
align the crosshair with your enemies. Use the left mouse button.
Okay, I probably don't need that. Do I need to kill them though? Because usually you had more options, but then again, even in Human Revolution, in the tutorial, you couldn't really bring them down non-lethally. It only came later, and I can't even, unglue myself from cover. So I guess I have to take them down, just because it's part of the tutorial. I'm a little disappointed with that. Deus Ex was always about freedom of choice and making your own way, and going non-lethal was pretty much always an option. But maybe it's a tranquilizer crossbow of sorts. Well, I guess I'm going to learn that soon enough. Yeah, I guess it is a tranquilizer crossbow because he fell down in a very like calm manner. So it very much seems like he simply lost consciousness as opposed to dying. So I guess
that last bloke was Bradford, Russian mafia.
They all are. Keep up.
The bodies disappear when you bring them down, which again is kind of understandable when you look at it as a port from mobile, because obviously it wouldn't have the resources to keep them on forever. But then again, when they ported it to PC, they could have changed that, It wouldn't require that much work, and it would obviously be much more immersive and sensible for the bodies to stay.
You can perform a takedown by approaching an enemy.
Okay, I hope I'm not skipping anything. What was it? Hold. Damn it! I already forgot. Okay, I think I need to rewatch that because I kind of forgot if non-lethal is hold or click. So I'm going to cut it out. Damn it. I can't seem to replay the tutorial. Freak. Because I don't want to kill him. I specifically want to bring him down non-lethally, but I forgot if I have to hold Q or click Q. I think it was hold. Okay, let me save. Oh, okay. That's kind of... Well, that wasn't it. Okay, I'll retry that. Be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I should probably watch those tutorials, just in case I have forgotten something crucial, much as I demonstrated. But I'm going to cut them out, obviously, because that's pretty boring. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, so I wanted to quickly mention two things. First of all, Bratva, the name for the Russian mafia, it pretty much means brotherhood, which is like it sort of calls back to many other organized crime groups, because they often style themselves in like familial terms, as a family. For example, the Sicilian mafia and Italian mafia, I guess in general, at least in pop culture, is very much stylized as a family. And I guess in some cases is literally like a family. At least the top level. They are often literally blood related. And second of all, the woman that reads the tutorials sounds so bored that I almost feel bad for her. Like, she sounds like some kind of text-to-speech AI or something. Like, there's literally no life in her whatsoever. Okay, let's try that again. Ah yes, the famous quiet takedowns of Deus Ex. Like, anyone who isn't a complete deaf person would have probably heard that.
Where's Red?
Oh, she's around.
Great. Deny their communications.
Yeah, she sounds so bored. That's kind of hilarious, actually. Can I talk with Barrett? Nope. Yeah, it's a pity I can't disable the quest markers.
Done. Target comms are dead. Ready.
Get that hatch open. Insertion. Go.
Okay, it doesn't seem like they comment on anything, so let's just go in. It's funny, there was like a giant grate, and then literally a meter afterwards there's this small hatch. Like, what was even the point of this giant metal railing? We could have just had a smaller one here, you know. I guess it only existed to show off Barrett's strength or something. Okay, so I have a combat rifle. Freak. I didn't really...
Once a weapon has been assigned to a quick slot, you can hold down the H key to roll out your available quick slots. Use the mouse scroll wheel to select a quick slot.
Okay, I didn't really want that. Let me try again.
Once a weapon has...
Because... yeah, I don't really want to use the rifle. Because it's lethal, obviously. But it seems I borderline have to. So that's kind of annoying. Let me... maybe I can buy... It seems you straight up buy weapons, you know, from thin air. You don't have to go to a shop, which is a huge, you know, annoyance for me, and it very much breaks, like, it is some kind of imaginary shop in your head or whatever, and they just straight up appear, I guess, which again is surely a remnant of the mobile nature of this game, because I assume back when it was played on the phone, they probably even, I would imagine, had the audacity to charge you like actual money to buy it. You know, that's usually the way mobile games work, but I'm not a fan of it at all. Obviously, it doesn't really make sense in universe. I will try to... Is there a tranquilizer rifle? Ah, okay, I do have the crossbow. Let's see. No, not that. I want the info on the crossbow. Non-lethal weapon, yeah. But it requires special ammo. Purchase this weapon, but I do have this weapon. I already... Oh, I guess it disappeared. I have 1,000 credits, so I could buy a taser. Yeah. And how do I buy ammo for it? Yeah, because I have 0 ammunition. I do want to buy more, though. Alright, there's a... Freak. I'm just stupid. Oh, could have bought a pack. Save credits. Yeah, this reeks of like microtransactions, right? You have bundles that are cheaper. Obviously, if the game had the audacity to charge me actual money on PC for freaking buying weapons in it, then I wouldn't even give it, you know, an hour of my time. As it is, let's buy some stun gun darts. Okay. Now I'll try to at first maybe use melee a little bit more, because you know, I only have 10 shots, which isn't that much when you really think about it.
Go tactical. Eliminate all threats.
Although there's only a single guy here, it's interesting that he's shown on my radar as an ally, because he's in green, but I assume that's a bug or some kind of overlooked detail. Oh, apparently... Okay, I totally didn't notice that they do leave loot behind, even though their bodies disappear, which again seems like a very stupid choice. Like, I'm not even saying it doesn't make sense in the universe, although it doesn't. I'm saying it's a stupid choice from a game design perspective, because how am I supposed to remember that there's loot to pick up when the body disappears and it doesn't leave any kind of container or anything behind? So it's pretty annoying. I'll have to try and remember picking them up. Okay. Yeah, I probably have to do it as part of the tutorial.
Proceed and stay alert.
Now, to be honest, I was never that big of a fan of the... Frick. How do I use the A key? I'm doing that. Nothing's happening. Can I just run across maybe? Okay, that doesn't really work. Because to be honest, I was never that big of a fan. I was never that big of a fan of Deus Ex's, Human Revolution's cover system. I scarcely even used that. Because I don't like the sort of jarring and sudden switch of perspectives between first person and third person. It kind of annoys me. But then the whole stealth system in Human Revolution was built around the idea of utilizing cover. That's why when I played it, I had a lot of trouble with it, because I pretty much never used it. I stayed in first person and moved in this way without using the actual inbuilt cover system, which was a huge hindrance at times. But I would have much preferred if there was an option to lean around corners in first person instead of using the cover system. Okay, so I assume this probably works the same way as it did in Human Revolution, right? Okay, it seems I can't really... I don't have any variation here, because it's like a tutorial.
Access granted.
Which, again, is kind of annoying. overall, I'm not at all impressed with this tutorial because it seems very limiting. But then again, even in Human Revolution itself, it wasn't really like it was very linear there as well. You know, just teaching you the basic mechanics now. Okay, this is the back of the room with the turret, so I don't need to go back there. Nothing on the radio, sadly. There are a couple of beers. I think I... Okay, I'm going to take the alcohol just in case. Maybe I'll use it later. But what I wanted to say is I'm kind of disappointed there isn't a radio show in this game, because I very much enjoyed the one that was in Human Revolution with the guy, you know, the conspiracy nut that sounded very similar to Alex Jones. And as much as I think Alex Jones is a nut job and, you know, he's talking nonsense, his brand of nonsense is very entertaining to listen to, because he's pretty like energetic, and he has these weird outbursts that are, you know, a joy to listen to when he's rambling about gay frogs or whatever. So I hope that character returns in Mankind Divided at the very least. Let's read the ebook. How to play Durak. Durak is actually Russian for fool, and I do believe this game is actually real, although I don't have that much experience with playing cards. I wonder if it will come up in actual gameplay, like if you can at any point play it yourself or something. Okay, that isn't too interesting, but it did give me an EXP bonus apparently. Okay, I don't have much choice, so let's just go there.
The administrator has been locked up for days. How much longer is he going to be unavailable?
Take out the guards.
Yes, yes. I lost a bit. I know. It's all I hear from...
Okay, so I have to remember to pick up the ammo to sell later, because if the bodies disappear, I am prone to forget that they even existed in the first place, to be honest. Okay, I don't think I want to wait for my batteries to recharge. I guess I did bring down this guy, and then I can take the other one in melee, which will conserve my ammunition. Okay, that didn't really work that great, but he didn't kill me. Now, actually, that reminds me that I didn't have the ability to choose the difficulty level in this game as opposed to Human Revolution. Okay, I can't read those because they are far too blurry. Although, funnily enough, I think the notes, the sticky notes, are actually taken directly from Human Revolution itself. Because I do remember, you know, similar looking ones there as well. Okay, I don't think I can do anything special here. I can take the beers, which I guess act sort of like almost like medkits. It was also funny that the game mentioned drinking alcohol and eating painkillers, almost in one breath, in one sentence, as a way to replenish your health, which is actually something like you're very much not supposed to do. Mix alcohol with medicine, at least most kinds of medicine. And in some games, like I very famously remember that in a game called Fahrenheit, I did actually kill myself, the character, by taking painkillers and then, drinking some vodka afterwards, and the game actually killed me for that, which was kind of cool to see. I didn't expect it to happen. Paintings, wine. I'll keep taking it. I'm kind of confused about how exactly the inventory works in this game. I guess it's limitless. You don't have a set inventory space. You just keep picking up items, and they appear sort of in your inventory endlessly, which again I am not a fan of. But then probably would have been difficult to manage the full-sized Human Revolution inventory on a telephone. But in general, I am not at all impressed with the vendor system, because it isn't really a vendor. It's like it's pretty much a screen that doesn't have any right to actually exist and work this way within the game's world, because how am I supposed to rationalize it? Like, is he materializing objects from thin air in the middle of a mission? Like, I don't really like it, but it is what it is. Doesn't look like I can sell any of them, though. Actually, let me take a look at my... Can I change location? That's weird. Let me take a look at my augmentations. That's actually quite a broad selection when you really look at it. Hacking decreases chance of detection. It's pretty boring. Hacking 45, pretty boring as well. Social enhancer, I'm definitely going to buy that just because I like the additional dialogue options. Hacking capture, this is pretty much the cloaking system. Armor, this is pretty much a copy of Human Revolution's augmentation system, which isn't really that bad of a thing, because I do think Human Revolution actually had a pretty cool augmentation system, all things considered. Oh, it's interesting, he already has the Icarus standing system, which I actually saw him use in the intro. So when he jumped from the plane or the chopper, I don't remember which one was it, but they all jumped, out of it. So it's cool that it's reflected in his actual augmentations, at the very least. But I guess that's all for now. Painkillers, first aid, nuke virus, that is also something from Human Revolution. Overall, it plays very similarly. There's a mine. Disarm the mine, approach it slowly using the shift key. Okay. Yeah, funnily enough, I never quite figured out how to disarm mines when playing Human Revolution, because I kept crouching instead of going slowly. It was, or at least I think I did that. And then I also tried like a bunch of, I tried the cloak aug, because funnily enough it did work on lasers, but it didn't work on the mines. So I died quite a lot of times by accidentally walking into a mine, and then in the end game I just kept shooting them from a distance. Okay, does this lead to the same place as this? Okay, I'll hack it. No doubt about that. Especially because I should be given free reign now to hack some additional directories, maybe. Okay, I'm not quite sure. Well, I guess there's not much choice here either.
Access granted.
Yeah, it was just an alternate route, I guess. It does give you an EXP bonus. It's all very reminiscent of Human Revolution. And
Advance! Kontarski's rooms are up ahead.
The target must be close. He could be shielded from thermographic scan.
And the way it worked there, it's like a, a stripped down version of Human Revolution, which isn't that bad when you try to remember that it's a mobile game. But then I think, like, most of the anger directed at this game was due to the fact that they pretty much changed.
It's a decoy.
They pretty much changed nothing when they ported it over to PC, and what was impressive, or what could potentially be impressive as a mobile game, didn't really work that well as a game on your PC. Let me check his computer first. Oh, there's an ebook as well. Thermoptic shielding. Heat signatures and cold objects into a... Yeah, so it just describes a way to how this thermoptic shielding technology, confuses thermoptics and how you can use it to hide from being found this way. I think it actually kind of already exists in the real world. Thermoptics itself definitely does, but I think, do not quote me on that, but I think there are some beginning stages of some counter technology to that being developed as well. You're a tourist from Juggernaut. You cannot stay in Moscow. That transcend government and military. They will find you and they will kill you. Get out. Okay.
The thermoptic shielding is down! Quickly! Get that shield operational!
Okay, that was problematic. By all accounts, I should have died. Like, if this was Human Revolution and I were playing on hard, they would have killed me here. Okay, I'll take the other one down in melee, just to save... although, yeah, it might be problematic as well. Actually, it might be a good moment to test how this drinking beer... Oh yeah, it provides... it provides like a wobbly effect on your screen, although it's very slight. Yeah, it was very sloppy of me, I must admit that. Okay, read the ebook. Maintenance floor. Yeah, I don't think I have much choice. So let's just do that. Yeah, purchase an EMP grenade. I'm not a fan of that at all. It just feels weird and wrong to just return to the game, yeah, to just buy things on the fly like that. I'm not a fan of that. Hold down middle mouse button to choose grenades. Okay, I want the EMP. There's a bot. Why didn't it work? I was pretty sure I'm supposed to press G. And I'm doing that. Well, I probably should have read the damn tutorial again instead of skipping it. So how do I throw it then? That's how I choose it, but I was under the impression... Trick. Well, it's probably not how I do it. I probably have to click G instead of hold, because holding, yeah, right, holding brings on the menu, but just clicking equals throwing it. Okay, so that was a little bit embarrassing, but well. Anything else in the room? Ah, there's an energy bar. That replenishes my batteries. And another ebook as well. Neuropozyne withdrawal. Drug manufactured by VersaLife. Darrow deficiency syndrome. Nerve scars. Yeah, it's interesting, the Neuropozyne aspect of augmentations, because it brings sort of another level to this whole debate, because not only you not only have the augmentations themselves, but now you also have like a pretty much life-depending drug that people have to take once they get augmented, and there's a lot of potential for abuse with it, which I very much feel is something that is already happening, because if I were to guess, I would probably say that the whole shortage described in the intro is very much intended and controlled by VersaLife itself to maximize profit, you know. Because if there's a drug that people need to live, then no matter how you drive up the prices, they will have to find some way to obtain it, which actually kind of already happens in real life with some things. Like, I've read that, for example, what's the word? Insulin is actually very expensive in the United States. To a point where many people who are diabetic and they literally need it to live, they are, you know, falling in financial trouble just to afford it. So it's kind of
Stand by, Gray. We're coming to you. Isolate and neutralize the target.
It's kind of a similar situation with Neuropozyne here. I wonder if if my character, Ben Saxon, has to use Neuropozyne and if it will be explored in any detail further in the game, because that's one of the things that kind of maybe not annoyed me, but that I found to be a bit of a missed opportunity with Human Revolution, because Jensen was like, he didn't need Neuropozyne at all, and it was actually a plot point, but I think it was a missed opportunity to portray some difficult, things, him trying to find the next dose and to secure a steady flow of Neuropozyne and presenting you with different scenarios in which maybe you have to compromise your morals or something to obtain a drug that you desperately need. So I wonder if this game will do something different with it, maybe. Okay, and I'll taste the other one, just so I don't have to wait for the batteries to recharge. Find the passcode, search for a pocket secretary. Yeah, I'm not a fan of all of those objectives and map markers flashing in my face. But it is what it is. Pistol ammo, I'm going to take it just in case there is a way to sell them after all, maybe later in game. Pocket secretary. Wait. This is just copied from an email, right? I forgot this is how it worked. I think in Human Revolution you actually had a separate tab for emails. That's why I was confused. And now Kantarsky. Yeah, Mikhail. It's him. So it was to him. Vasily. Under lockdown. I do not need food, I do not need to be checked on. I just need you to stay alert. Why wouldn't he need food though? Like, if he's alive, then he obviously would have to eat. Okay, but that does not contain the code itself. So I have to keep looking, I guess. Ebook, didn't read that, so let's check it. Juggernaut Collective. Okay, that's interesting, because this name has already been mentioned a couple of times. Okay, it's really annoying.
If you don't want to hack a locked door, you can try entering a passcode instead. Passcodes are often hidden in nearby pocket secretaries or computer terminals. You can also try to destroy the door with weapons and explosives.
It's really annoying how it keeps flashing on my screen and obstructing. Whoa. Okay, that's even weirder, because I'm not sure what happened here. Like, it's almost like I read two ebooks at the same time, but I'm not even sure where the second one came from, and they sort of overlaid over each other. But the Juggernaut Collective has been mentioned a couple of times already. They seem to be helping this Mikhail Kotarsky, my target. So let's read a little bit more about them. Led by mysterious hacker known as Janus. Gang of 5, collection of faceless hackers, NSA most wanted list. New Sons of Freedom, NSF. That's they will later evolve into the North Secessionist Front and are actually an important group in Deus Ex 1. And Juggernaut and NSF share many of these beliefs. Now, obviously, in hindsight, knowing all that I know about both the tyrants, Bob Page and NSF, it's very easy to assume that the Dragonaut Collective are actually the good guys here, or at the very least that they are the less evil guys. Now, interestingly enough, Janus is the Roman god of, like, he's notable for having like two faces. So it's interesting because it seems to be hinting at some kind of duplicitousness of this organization, or maybe at the fact, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that the mysterious hacker Janus is not a single person, for example. That he himself is like a group, like a collective that pretends to be one person for like recognition and also to confuse his enemies. But I'm not sure where did the second ebook came from when they overlaid over each other, because it did happen at some point. Actually, can I even jump in this game? Let me check that. Because I'm pressing space for jumping because I seem to remember that was it, but maybe not. Or maybe I simply can't jump in this game at all, which would be pretty weird, because I wanted to take a closer look at the books. Life something. I like, exploring small things in the background, books, posters, and whatever. Okay, I have to keep looking for the pocket secretary with the code. Proptacular. Interesting name. Read that. Resolving conflicts. I'm trying to see if any of the books are, taken from Human Revolution. Extended design. There's a smartphone, but it's not a pocket secretary. Oh, freak! It's literally laying like a meter across. Heightened risks. Mikhail's being paranoid. Nobody is after him. Well, I'm sad to inform you that you're not correct on that. Trying to eliminate him. Boy who cried wolf. Anything to the stories, or is MK just delusional? MK would be Mikhail Kotarsky, right? Oh, of course, 0451. It's a very famous number. Keep close watch on him. A very famous number in the history of Deus Ex, and actually many other games. It's a number that has to do with the people that worked on, well, some of the people, because it's not always the exact same team each time, but there's a bunch of people that worked on very, multiple series over time. System Shock, Bioshock, Thief, and Deus Ex. And whenever they create a new game, some of those people, they always try to incorporate this number into it as a sort of, a calling card almost. And there is this like urban legend that it has to do with the book Fahrenheit 451, but apparently it has been established in an interview with Warren Spector that it's pretty much just a number of an office where they originally worked or something. I'm going to post more information about that in the description, along with the source for that quote, so you can check it. I will also post a link to a list of games in which this number appears, because it's a higher number than you would assume. It also appeared in Human Revolution itself. anything worthwhile here. I still don't know how to jump, and I'm not even sure if I can jump. But I guess maybe it'll be elaborated upon. Do I have to do it? Because I would much rather prepare to. Freak. Yeah, it shows it for me, because I would much rather prefer to save for the social enhancing augmentation. That's not really optimal, I would say. So what key was it? F1, okay. But I guess the cloak itself is useful anyway. Like, I would very much buy it anyway. I just wanted to buy it a little bit later. There's a bot right here, but it seems to be disabled for now. Okay, is that him? It seems so.
Don't move. Please, you must not stop me.
He's here to kill you, Mikhail.
You told me I would have more time. Please, I have to finish what I started, or...
Touch that console and it'll be the last thing you ever do, Minister.
Mikhail, this is bigger than you. We need the data on the killing floor and the tyrants. You must complete the upload.
That's enough from you, pal.
No, not yet.
It's over.
You're not here to arrest me. You're not a policeman. What authority do you have? Please, I beg of you, do not kill me. I only did what I thought was right.
This man is not a criminal. You cannot judge him.
Save it. You're part of a global terror network. The people you sold out to are responsible for the deaths of my men. Operation Rainbird. You know that name? You know what happened out there? That was my squad you sacrificed. They were soldiers, doing their jobs. It wasn't even their damn war, but you gave us up to the enemy. You're going to answer for what you've done. Are you watching this? Because we're coming for you next.
No, that's not true. I'm not a terrorist. I've never even heard of this Operation Rainbird. Please, Janice, help me.
Do you know what you are doing, mercenary? Do you know what master you serve? You are being lied to. They cannot afford to have you learn the truth. They are using your desire for revenge to control you.
Janice is right. I don't know anything about your men. You must believe me. I do not want to die.
Okay, to be honest, I don't have that much reason to believe him, but then again, I don't have that much reason to disbelieve him. And like, I'm pretty much driven by hindsight in this case, because, you know, I know, having played Human Revolution, I know quite a bit about the tyrants. Although I guess this game in itself kind of spoiled me on that, because it started with Ben Saxon trying to explain to his colleague, the woman in the intro, that apparently working for the tyrants was a mistake, so it's already, you know, priming you to disobey them. And even then, I mostly go for a non-lethal option in Deus Ex as well, so given the choice, I will choose to capture him, of course.
I won't kill you, but you're coming with me, and you're going to tell me everything.
Green light.
Please, I do not want to...
Target has been terminated. All units, exfiltrate now.
Well, I guess...
The tyrants and the men holding their leash don't seek justice. They want control, absolute control. And they use every tool available to them. Manipulation, lies, assassination.
How did you find out that Namir was lying to you about Kontarsky and Operation Rainbird?
After Moscow, I knew something was wrong. I started looking where I wasn't supposed to. The tyrants operate from a mobile base, a jetliner fitted with stealth gear. That's where I found the intel, on Namir's computer.
What did you find, Ben? It's really important. Try to remember every detail you can.
We were flying at night, across the North Atlantic. We were in the middle of a storm. Waited until the debrief was complete. Made sure the others were out of the way. I took the opportunity to look around.
Okay, there's one thing I wanted to comment on before ending this episode, because it's pretty long. It's actually longer than I would have liked it to. But I think it was actually pretty cool how there was this kind of illusion of choice in the tutorial. Because, like, ordinarily I wouldn't say that. Ordinarily an illusion of choice is annoying, but it very much fits in this case, because I thought I would be able to not kill him, but then the other tyrants just straight up did it anyway, and I felt it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool way of establishing both that they don't care about your opinion, like they have their own goals and they don't really care about what you think. You have to just do what you are told, otherwise they are just going to do it themselves. And it also established, like, because if you really think about it, it wouldn't make much sense for them to even allow you to not kill him after directly ordering you to do it. So, it was a sort of bait and switch situation, because having played Human Revolution and, having this idea that usually in Deus Ex it's possible to not kill your enemies, I was pretty convinced that it was an actual alternative, and instead you didn't really have a choice, but you thought you have a choice. And as I said, usually it's annoying when it happens in games, but I think it actually thematically worked in this one. That being said, this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to save here, and that's all for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!